Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Reggie Yates, how are you?
I'm not bad. I'm worried that I don't quite qualify for celebrity or star. And I fired my butler last week.
You need a new agent. That's the problem, you see. I tell you what I like about you. You always do really credible, good stuff. Was that deliberate, or is it just that you've got the best agent in the world?
I think it comes down to having a career as opposed to being flash in the pan. I've been doing what I do for nearly 30 years now, and over that time I've learned a lot about myself and also learned a lot about what matters to me and what I care about. And changing my perspective on what my platform could and should be used for is a huge reason as to why I've gone into documentaries and have spent nearly the last decade doing what I do.
I was thinking about you only this weekend with that new video on the Ryanair where there are still people going around. Although I think this guy is probably ill in some way, there are still issues. And even in 2018, we still encounter them. And you've really worked hard to highlight this stuff, that communities are divided. There is rich and poor. There are problems with race. There is still things we need to acknowledge. And just pretending it doesn't exist doesn't help.
At all. And that's, that speaks to my point of understanding the place that I found myself in. I was fronting entertainment shows and hosting music shows and doing stuff that had millions and millions of eyes on it, and realised that it just wasn't fulfilling. And understand that it's from a place of privilege that I'm able to say I wanted to do something that was fulfilling as well as paying the bills. But in doing that, I think that it's changed me as a man, and it's also changed the kind of work that I want to do, which is why I'm talking to you today and why I'm a part of the Aviva Community Fund, because community is a huge, huge part as to why I am the way that I am and why I'm here today. I went to a community drama group where somebody from my area decided to do something for young people and created this drama group that allowed us to not only learn about ourselves, gain more confidence, but also start careers and have an opportunity to perform and to be in the performing arts and earn a living from it. And that came from a small community group and from a class that cost me £2.50 a lesson to attend. So supporting community groups across the UK is incredibly important to me.
I'm talking to you today from Nottingham. I don't have a community around here. We have a thing called a Snoopers Charter, you see. It's the same thing. Everybody sees anything, but we just don't go in each other's houses. I suppose that's all right, really, because we've got our eye on each other.
Yeah, well, especially with social media today, we are more connected in ways than the past. And, millennials definitely get a bad rap. I'm a bit of a reluctant millennial at 35 years old. I'm sort of on the cusp of being a millennial, but I'm sort of pushing back on the perception that millennials are self-obsessed and selfie-obsessed. I think that millennials are using social media for good and are creating groups globally.
I don't know whether I totally agree. I'm about the same age as you. I'm 38, but I look at the generation beneath me and I do hold my head in shame sometimes when I see Instagram. It's the same picture 430 times taken with the same lighting, just a different jacket. And you think, have you got nothing better to do? But I guess we're just old farts. Time moves on, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, you say that, but at the same time, Aviva have done some research and found out that under 30s are more likely to volunteer than other generations, and it's really exciting to hear that social media can be actually used for good, and there are good sides to social media and, unfortunately, negative sides, and it's really easy to focus on the selfies and the self-absorption, but funnily enough, there are people actually doing positive things online. All we have to do is look at hashtag culture, for instance. People are changing perception and starting interesting conversations globally through Twitter and Instagram, as well as posting pictures of their new shoes.
Yeah, and aside from the narcissism, if we look at like the motor neuron disease campaign with the bucket challenge where everybody did that, I think that was the first thing when we went, my God, look at the power of this and what good it can do.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many examples of that are easily forgotten because it's way more interesting and fun to poke fun at Kim Kardashian wannabes than it is to talk about people who are starting hashtags that actually shift culture globally.
Let's talk about you and your career. I mean, you're a man of colour who I think is an ambassador for your generation. I wonder whether you've encountered sort of barriers and people standing in front of you who have judged you for what you look like. I say this because I'm a ginger person, deeply unattractive, and have a very small man's sausage, and I get judged a lot myself. I feel your pain. Why are you laughing?
I had a feeling that there would be lots of things covered in this conversation, but man sausage wasn't one of them. A ginger man sausage.
Yes. This is what's worse. You know what they say about gingers, don't you? Rusty roof equals a damp basement. It's a disadvantage, Reggie.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
I knew this would happen.
Yeah, obviously there are things that have stood in my way over the years, and the last thing I'm going to do now is pull out my little violin. But the truth of the matter is there will be and will always be issues in this world, but what's important is that we actually talk about them and we communicate just some of the things that we are seeing and that we're seeing as problems in our communities and in our global community, which is why I make the documentaries that I make, and which is why I'm involved in projects just like this one, because I think it's very easy to see us as being more divided than ever, especially with something like social media. But I believe that we're becoming closer as a community globally, and conversations now aren't just happening in small little microcosms. They're actually happening in the macro because of things like social media, which is why I'm shouting about this campaign, because I really do believe that community groups and getting together with your community and also supporting your community to do little things that have a great impact are really, really important. As a result of my mum sending me to a little drama group, my mum now in her 50s has started a little community group of her own, encouraging 5 to 10-year-olds to dance. And through that dancing, they're gaining confidence, they're learning about communicating and meeting new people. And it's that kind of group that we want supported through the Aviva Community Fund.
And what's brilliant, Aviva Community Fund have put this together, but you've only got to walk around any school. My nephew was here yesterday. He's 6. He doesn't see colour. He doesn't see sexuality. The next generation are probably the most privileged because they don't have any of the nonsense that generations above us have had. It's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Well, you'd like to think that, and I'm starting to see that kind of thing come to play in my little brothers and sisters and my nephews and nieces, and it feels quite trite to say, oh, blah, blah, or blah, blah doesn't see colour, or I don't see colour. What I think is important is that people feel as though they belong, and they belong to something bigger than themselves, regardless of the race of the people that they're connected with, or religion, or anything else, disability or sexuality. And community is and will continue to be a major reason as to why I'm moving forward in my career and in my life on a personal level,
I wish I had another 10 minutes with you because we've got lots to talk about. Let's talk again. Reggie Yates, one of my favourite people. And keep it classy. You're really good at what you do. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.